We welcome Jeff Hall. He's the Economic Development Director for Economic Development Programs Manager for Lutheran Family Services. Appreciate his time. And Mullah Akbar, he is the owner of Cafe Istanbul, one of the better restaurants in Albuquerque, I'll just say, but also a refugee from Afghanistan himself. And we'll talk to him in just a little bit. Let's talk to you, Jeff, here real quick. Just a couple of questions. The public wants to know, basically, the feedback we're getting. How does this all work? When an Afghan refugee comes here, what does Lutheran Family Services then do to get folks settled here in New Mexico?
Great. Well, yeah, thank you for having me. So we've been resettling refugees and asylees here in Albuquerque and New Mexico at large since 2012. And kind of how that looks like is whenever they come here, we greet them at the airport, and then we're basically assisting them with all of their basic needs from that point on. That's housing, transportation assistance, linking them with different community resources, all in an effort to help them navigate this new environment that they find themselves in, and ultimately help guide them towards self-sufficiency and whatever that means for their situation.
Jeff, what do most folks come with as a refugee? Is it completely empty-handed? Is there something that folks come in your experience?
So for the most part, they come with very little, if anything. We see refugees coming sometimes with bags of clothes, things that they can carry with them to the airport. For the most part, they have very little, if anything at all, that they're able to bring with them.
I'm wondering if mental health services are part of the game here, because, as Mullah Akbar just mentioned, I mean, this is a traumatic time. You can't just plop someone in the United States and expect it to all work out. Are there services in that regard?
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up. That is one of the things, the services that we try to provide to clients as they come here, because obviously having your mental health in a healthy place leads to that self-sufficiency and that ability to be a productive member in whatever community that you're in. We do work with community partners, and we're so thankful that we're able to do so. I definitely feel a sense of pride to be a part of this community that is so welcoming.
Where's your heart right now about what's going on right now in Afghanistan?
To be honest, sir, it really it sunk my my heart when I heard it this morning. I heard it through a friend long before the media knew about it. A friend of mine who is in the situation where a number of other Afghans who honorably served with the U.S. Mail and other U.S. institution in Afghanistan. He called me this morning. He was in the vicinity, was trying to find out if he can get on to the base. So as soon as he luckily he was further away from the blast, but he called me and said, "Hey man, it's a terrible explosion here." He said, "I don't know the casualties, but it's going to be in the in the tens, if not thousands, is because it's this huge crowd of people." So when I heard that, honestly, my heart, my leg, my hands were start shaking. You're like, how much can these people endure? How much on daily basis, on hourly basis? So extremely sad, extremely heartbroken.
Do you feel Americans understand just how difficult the Taliban is? Do you feel like we know deeply over here, or is there something missing in our understanding as far as you're concerned?
Well, if I be frank with you, sir, I worked for our government for 10 years as a diplomat, traveled back and forth to Afghanistan, and I worked for the U.S. Embassy. Based on, that 10 years of experience that I know, and knowing, I still have family members and friends and others, we told them all along, these are the folks that they do not obey by their own words. They do not stick to their own words. They'll tell you at the moment, based on what they think is going to get the attention of the Americans, especially American officials. And I've told a number of times, many times, in many occasions, said, look, they're just giving you literally some hot air, and there's nothing to be these people are not trustworthy. And
So
yet,
when their spokesperson said the United States should trust us, should we?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely not, sir. Absolutely not. Well,
Mhm.
given an example, they have been around since early 90s.
Mhm.
You go back to their history, they made 1,000 more than that different promises to the Afghan people,
Yep.
and yet that very next hour they went back and literally destroyed that promise. So how can just a wolf puts a clothing of a sheep does not make him a sheep, no matter
Mhm.
how they look. And that's the sad reality of the situation, and we see the consequences. American, I don't know, our American politicians, they're not naive, but I don't know what's behind it. So they knew better than this.
Is it your view that in order to fix what we've got now, do you think we'd have to go back in with coalition forces and have a fight on our hands with the Taliban to get all the Afghans we need to get out who have helped the U.S. over time?
Honestly, based on my own experience, or based on knowing what I know, worked in that country, knowing the culture, and knowing these folks that we've been dealing for over a better part of that 2 decades,
Mhm.
I think there is no other alternative. There is no other alternative other than, again, making that enormous amount of sacrifice by the Western government, led by the United States, to go back and clean this up. Will that happen? I don't know. This is going to be depending on our current politician and future politician.
Yeah. How big is the Afghan community here in Albuquerque? I'm curious what you've seen grow over your time here.
Oh, it has grown. Back in the mid 90s, we're about 52, maybe 70 families. Now, I want to say close to 400 family or more. So it has definitely grown quite a bit. Yes, yes, right.
What do you attribute that to? What was, I mean, beyond the obvious need to get out of Afghanistan, why Albuquerque? Why are we so attractive?
I think there were a number of different cases or different issues. Number one, I think people, like Jeff said earlier, when they come in, if they knew someone in different parts of the country, they tend to gather around those individuals because number one, the language, the ways around. They can call upon you and say, "Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that?" That makes them feel comfortable. Number two, in certain ways, Albuquerque resembles certain part of Afghanistan. Not Kabul, obviously. Kabul is much higher elevation. But other parts of Afghanistan, like the southern Afghanistan, it's very flat, desert, hot. North, part of the north is like that. So it's some feels like this is more like home. Others feel like, being close to someone they know, they trust, it makes them feel comfortable. Then other times, there are other states, they simply don't have room. They'll say, whoever can be able to welcome these folks, and please, go ahead and do so. And our state leadership has always been a welcoming, and for that we're really grateful.
Is there anything you're doing personally at the shop? Are you taking volunteer stuff at the Cafe Istanbul? I'm curious what's happening in your store. Has it become a centerpiece for Afghan folks to come and talk about these things?
I haven't done yet, but I've been in fact about that to set up and talk to the community, Afghan community here, and maybe set up a place where people can come in and talk about, but also, call us or come and ask for assistance. For example,
Right.
the Lutheran services or other organization here in town where we may be able to access to those, so we can refer them to, or we can say, here's a number, or here's an address, or, folks, whatnot. And then in addition to that, find a way to ask my community and others here, say, hey, we're accepting donations as, maybe furniture for the house or cookware for the kitchen, that kind of stuff. So I've been thinking about that, but I haven't started it. I think we may start that hopefully in the very near future.
I got a last question for you, because I know you're running a business there. You got to get back to it. But I can't help but be excited for women and girls coming to the United States and having an opportunity to do what they've been building towards doing all these past few years before these Taliban folks are going to come in and ruin everything. I'm curious your thought on that. Have you talked to women, Afghan women who are here in the States, or here in Albuquerque, I should say, about that? Because that seems to me that's a brilliant opportunity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly, we had a small rally. We, meaning the Afghan community, had a small rally this past Saturday at the Civic Plaza, and there were a number of young women, and they expressed their obviously thoughts. And like you said, we are optimistic, hopefully, especially for those folks who can get out, and for those young women, they can achieve their goals, achieve who they wanted to be, rather than being forced to stay home, be a housewife, or some meaningless job, or something of that nature. We're very optimistic and hopeful for those folks. The young ladies are coming, and hopefully they do something good for themselves, for their community, and hope, who knows, maybe down the road they can go back and contribute back to the Afghan society as well. So we're very optimistic about that.
I love that. That's a great final note. Mullah Akbar, owner of Cafe Istanbul, Afghan refugee who's been here in Albuquerque for quite a number of years. Thank you so much for your time.